We are here on Choctaw-Hatchie Bay, and this is Mid-Bay Shores, and it's a campsite run by Maxwell Air Force Base out of Montgomery, the MWR, a great park, and we're down here to get caught up with Mike and Joan Riddle, who we've not seen for a long time, but they've had their RV now for about 10 months, and we're going to find out exactly how life has been with the RV over the past 10 months. We did do a video with them when they first got it, and that link is right up here. It's called Never Too Late. So hang around as we get caught up with Mike and Joan Riddle. August of last year, August, September, you bought it.
Right.
You came and visited with me and Miss Barbara in Pensacola, and we took a trip over to Foley.
Right.
And we looked at Ed's RV.
Yes.
Mr. Ed Pierce and his wife.
And we did a video at that time, and we'll link to it right up here, and you can watch Never Too Late. That's right.
Right up there. I see
There it is. So you can go watch that video, and basically we're going to touch base with them now and see how their first 10 months have been, what they've learned, lessons along the way. I'm Ricky.
And I'm Barbara.
And together we're RV Underway. If you enjoy the RV lifestyle and love learning more about it, then we urge you to subscribe to our channel. Click on the bell so you're notified when new content is available. Give us a thumbs up if you like this video, and also leave us a comment because we'd love to hear from you, and we answer all those comments. Actually, Miss Barbara answers most of those comments.
Yes.
Sometimes she answers them as me.
Well, yeah.
If you got
I
something.
try to answer them as RV Underway.
I got you.
Because
All right.
Barbara Carter is a separate entity.
Also share our videos. We certainly would appreciate it. Now, here's some of the things we talked about almost a year ago. We talked about the items you thought you needed then and the items you got since then and items that you really figured out you really didn't need. Are there any of those? One thing Mike had to have, and he got it.
My new flagpole.
That is awesome.
You know what that stands for, don't you, on my hat?
I thought it stood for United States Coast Guard.
Uncle Sam's Confused Group.
Well, it's official now. A little dangerous, wasn't it?
It was, yeah, it was, my ladder's not as long as I would like to have it, but with the help of a step ladder, I got up on it, and yeah, it was, yeah, a little hairy up there, you know. I mean, you're a long ways up, and I'm not quite as young as I used to be, so I have to be very careful.
Why is it that Endeavor made their ladder so? It is very high. I mean, a lot of RVs are like that. In fact, look over there right now at that Journey. You see how high that ladder starts, but of course it's a diesel pusher, and so you got access to the engine compartment.
Maybe that's why the ladder
and I think that's the reason mine's that way, because it's a diesel pusher, and the way the access doors to your engine components, to check your oil, your water levels, things like that is right there, and I think that's probably the reason why. So the doors don't slap the ladder.
They're parked right next to a newer Bounder by Fleetwood, and if you look over there right now, you see their ladder almost touches the ground.
Yeah, their ladder's way down there.
Ours goes pretty low. It's very accessible, but they do make some flagpole mounts that me and Mike looked at on the back of our RV. We happen to have one that makes it kind of easy. At least he won't have to climb all the way to the roof to mount the colors on the pole. But we lit it up at night. He kept it flying the whole time he was here. Now, apart from the flagpole, they needed a broom. Have you taken care of that?
Taken care of. Well, actually, Miss Barbara took care of that for me. Our first on our maiden voyage, she hooked me up with a broom. So thank you again. And it has been used this time.
if you're down in the sand and by the surf, guess what? You're really going to need a broom.
Back and forth to the beach.
And I found out something else that is an indispensable item to have, and that's a blower that has a battery pack. You can blow your steps off and your shoes with, it's
blow your awning off before you roll it up.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's very good item to have, and so we got a new one of those too.
It'll also stoke a fire for you.
I bet it would.
It works very well if you got those. If you got it kind of smoldering there, and throw a couple of pieces of kindling on there and hit it with that blower, you got your fire going. And I use mine for that. We haven't been able to have a fire here. The fire marshal in North Florida said that we couldn't have a fire, and it threatened rain most of the week, but we only got a sprinkle.
We really
this
lucked
morning.
out.
Didn't get hardly anything. Which was good. Although this morning, when I was getting ready to put things up in the RV and roll hoses up and all this kind of stuff, every time I get ready to leave, it rains, so I have to put things away wet. It didn't rain hard; it just rained enough to be aggravating this morning.
Right. But you took your mats in early a couple of days ago because it did threaten rain, and those are hard to deal with when they're sandy and dirty and wet, and I appreciate that. Let's talk about the kitchen for a minute. I know you love to cook.
I do.
And you've made some discoveries about appliances you needed and got, and you also made some discoveries on this trip about your oven.
I did.
Tell us a little bit about that ooey gooey butter cake.
Ooey gooey butter cake. So the oven is very small. Very small, and it turned out that I didn't have a pan that would fit in it. So I had to make the batch of ooey gooey butter cake and cook it in 2 different pans. But it worked out.
At 2 different times.
2 different times.
Both pans wouldn't
just
fit,
made it up, and it worked. But there's a convection oven in the RV that I have, and you can bake in it. And so I need to do a little study on that and homework, because I think I could have pulled it off in there, just not familiar enough with it yet to do that. But so I think we had planned, we typically talk about doing a lot of cooking outdoors, and we kind of like to cook outdoors, and we've talked about an air fryer, we have an electric skillet, we have a grill, but the oven was a bit of a challenge. It's small, so check the size of your baking pans.
We have a good friend of ours, the Art of RVing, Carrie and Mark, and Carrie prepares a meal before they even leave in the crock pot. Fully cooks it, sticks it in the sink, And then while Mark's out doing his little thing and she's got to take the stuff out, you know how we have to prepare when we get into a site. That crock pot, she just plugs it in and warms it up, and that's dinner that night. So they don't have to worry about, now what are we going to do? So that's kind of a great road trip idea. You know,
Very
just keep
good
that
idea.
in your keep that in the back of your mind. But
That's a very good idea.
And that's on top of trying to get your RV set up inside and outside. You want that first meal and it's just already ready. Just plug it in and you're ready to have stew or soup or whatever you've prepared. So,
well, and we actually, or I actually did that this time. Our first night we had, I know we invited you guys over, but we had the ribs and we pre-cooked them at home in the Instapot. And then I made all the cold salads and had them cooked. And so all Mike did was build a fire and throw the ribs on the fire, give them a little grill, and we were set to go.
Good to go.
But the crock pot's a great idea, too.
yeah.
it was. And you need to get Joan's recipe for cucumber pasta. What was that?
That was a spaghetti pasta that has cucumbers and tomatoes and zesty Italian dressing. That was the dressing for it, and just cooked spaghetti.
Red and yellow, black, whatever, purple peppers.
Peppers
Chopped up real small.
And the secret ingredient is salad supreme. It's in a little bottle that you shake on it, but you cook the spaghetti, put in whatever you want, olives, tomatoes, cucumbers, pour the zesty Italian over it, and that little bottle of McCormick Salad Supreme goes how much ever you want, and get it cold, and that's pretty good stuff.
And shrimp coleslaw, shrimp slaw.
Shrimp slaw.
Which would be great whether it's crab meat, conch, shrimp,
lobster,
crawfish.
Wow, crawfish.
There you go. Ooh.
Absolutely. Mike, how about outside the RV? Some lessons you learned. What about your trip over this time? I know that the first time you drove it, everything was kind of tense, but this is the first time you flat-toed the Traverse here.
Yeah, we decided we were going to, this trip, 2 days before we left, we'd never hooked the car up to it. We got the total hookup and everything, and I've just been, well, quite frankly, I've just been a little scared to.
Right.
That's, 38 feet plus another, whatever that is, 18 to 20 feet. Well, you're kind of long. And I was very tense about doing that. But this time, like I say, 2 days before we made our trip, we hooked up and got on a 4-lane highway and took off. And I didn't know that thing was behind me. Hey, it's a good thing I had a camera to watch it, in the back of the RV. That thing pulls like a dream. You don't really know it's there. It doesn't seem to reduce my power or anything like that. It didn't take long till I was really very comfortable. And this time, coming over here, knock on wood, I didn't have any problems. Everything went just like it's supposed to. And so I feel pretty comfortable with it now.
It was a real confidence booster to hook that tow car up and make it over here with it, because we've been toying back and forth with, do we want to tow a car, do we want to, when we go somewhere and need a car, rent a car, do I follow him in one of our vehicles? But he really likes me in the RV with him, just helping monitor and
Which is what you did when you went into Kansas. You followed.
No.
You didn't
No,
carry.
we
You didn't carry a vehicle.
We did not take one because our good friends had, several cars at home, and they told us, you will have the use of the vehicle.
I got you.
So it wasn't necessary for us to do that, but we really needed to figure out this tow car thing, and I think it's going to work out great.
Yeah, like I say, and it's easy to hook up. It's got the brakes that work in conjunction with the motorhome brakes, and all your lights and everything are hooked up. You have an umbilical cord that goes from your RV to your tow vehicle, and everything was great. I mean, I couldn't ask for it to have gone any better than it did.
Plus, it's a lot of extra storage. a lot of extra storage of things you need. It's a great place for the coolers, overflow from the fridge. So that worked out great. We put the cornhole boards in there, but we
never did play cornhole.
We never did do that. Of course, it would have been Coast Guard against Navy, and we know how that would have come out.
We will have to do that the next time we get together.
So I challenge.
Yeah.
That's a challenge.
That's a challenge. So I bought the actual boards and ordered the decal, I guess.
No, I painted that on there by hand.
Oh, no.
Oh, no, that's right. I did not.
We can't do that.
That looks good,
So
huh?
I ordered that, and Mike made his Coast Guard cornhole boards, and so we have really enjoyed them.
There's a warning on the back. It says, "Don't challenge the Navy."
Is that right? Oh, that's funny.
That is excellent. And it's
Beautiful piece of art.
It's beautiful.
Good-looking.
It's beautiful.
Good-looking work, and love that vinyl on it there. That is beautiful.
It doesn't make us play the game any better, just putting that out there. That it's so pretty, but nice to look at. It makes us feel better about playing it.
And the Navy enjoys throwing things at the Coast Guard.
I know they would.
Right.
I know they would.
Let's talk about yesterday. You learned a few lessons yesterday. We had a little shower here, and we had a power outage in the park. I immediately go over to start my generator, which I've worked on for 2 weeks now, and it ran perfect at the house. Put. Put. Nothing. Never could get the generator going when I needed it. It's got a fuel problem of some sort. I replaced the fuel pump, but I think it's just a long haul to drag that gas from the gas tank. But anyway, with that power outage, you were able to do several things. First of all, you had to diagnose why you were still having 30, 50 amp problems, and then
right.
DC, you had your coach batteries had a problem. But tell us a little bit about that, and also running your generator.
Well, I sometime while we were gone, apparently the pigtail, the dog bone, whatever, got rainwater in it, and it must have shorted it a little bit, and I lost power to my rig, and so it was on battery power. Well, unbeknownst to me, we had left several lights on. You know, when you're at an RV park and you're not paying the bill, I guess you don't care.
Yeah.
But
Is this where I can say after his wife suggested we turn everything off?
yeah, I'm usually the one that tells her at home, can you turn that light up? But you know, I figure we're on somebody else's dime now. So.
Yep.
Well, that was a bad choice, bad decision on my part. We should have turned all the lights off. Anyway, the refrigerator running on battery power, the lights running on battery power, everything running on battery power, and the park then has a power failure, and we don't know how long that was either. So,
Because we were out gallivanting.
We were gallivanting.
So
we were plundering at Goodwill.
So I go to start my
After
generator.
a wonderful oyster dinner. Oh, wow. Thank you, guys.
Sorry,
Doc's Oyster Bar.
Doc's
in
Oyster
Niceville.
Bar in Niceville.
Got to go there.
Yeah, but you
Highly
fired up your
recommended.
generator.
Well, I went to fire up the generator, and guess what? They were running. Those were the house batteries that start the generator. Well, they were dead. So I couldn't start my generator, and thank goodness for people next door in the RV. Yeah, you know, these RV parks, you meet the nicest people.
Absolutely.
I swear, everybody they're there to help you however they can. He doesn't live far from here, but he likes to come to the bay, and he said, if you need another charge or starter battery or whatever you need, he says, I got extra one at the house. I can run and get it real quick. I said, no, I think I'm all right. And he says, I said, I have jumper cables and I can use my car. He said, well, how about your engine, your prime mover starting batteries? And I said, well, I don't know how that's going to charge up my house batteries. He said, give it a try.
Mm-hmm.
So naturally, my starting battery started my engine right up, and unbeknownst to me, your engine alternator will charge your house batteries too. And it charged them up enough to where I could start my generator. Got my generator going, and everything charged back up, was okay. And when they got power back on in the park, I plugged my plug in, and that's when we found out there was water in it and it was shorted out. So I still didn't have shore power. So we had to dry that out and hold it a different direction and all that for it to work.
All right, the two of y'all put a lot of time and effort into the finish on the RV. I know that when you got it, it looked good, but there was some oxidation as they all get on that poly coat. But tell us what you did there.
Well, we had wanted ever since we bought it to, you know, try to shine it up a little and get some of the oxidation off. And we talked about it, and both of us did some research online and heard some really good reviews about Meguiar's. And they have not only a product that has some pumice or grit in it that is great for the oxidation.
That's what it's called. It's a marine RV oxidation remover by Meguiar's, and you can get it on Amazon. We got a gallon of it, and
it's, you know, boats and RVs, but it was quite an undertaking.
You wouldn't happen to have it in your pocket right now, would you?
Actually, I got some of the polish, Meguiar's polish that we used afterwards.
Oh,
right
yeah,
here.
there you go.
We did it not only once, but twice.
We, after removing the oxidation on it, now this was all by hand, no machine work, and then the oxidation was removed, and so then we decided we need to put a coat of polish. So this is cleaner wax. It's for marine and RVs, and it's very good stuff. Then we polished the whole thing up with this and buffed it out, and so actually we're pretty familiar with the body on this thing now.
Every nook, every cranny. He even did some trim work on it.
Replaced some trim, yeah.
And painted some trim, and that baby looks
Good. She's pretty.
Yeah,
we highly recommend this Meguiar's, and I'm you know, I wish they'd pay me for my endorsement on it. I'm certain I'll never hear a word from them, but it worked out very well on our RV, and it's very shiny and pretty. It looks like a new one.
Just remember, Meguiar's RV underway. RV underway. Bringing you this product endorsement.
That's right.
And there are RVs sitting in the storage area over here at Mid-Bay Shores that are much later models than this RV, and they're in horrible shape. They could use a little oxidation treatment themselves, couldn't they?
Yes, absolutely.
Now, was it by hand, or did you use a buffer?
Oh, no, by hand.
It was by hand.
All by hand.
We both will require a cortisone shot in our shoulder after this, but
little carpal tunnel surgery.
But it was well worth it. It needed it, and we were well pleased with the outcome. So
it looks extremely good, and with your new flagpole mounted back there, and Mike is slowly figuring out where his storage is for each one of his items. You got that? Yeah, he's coming right on up here. Got us a visitor over here, a squirrel.
Mike's calling in the squirrel with nothing in his hand to give him.
Well, what all did we do while we were here? I think we went kayaking.
For the first time for me.
First time.
It was the first
time.
And I loved it.
It was a lot of fun.
I'm happy that they both loved it, because I love it, and it's a great upper body workout.
Oh, I loved it. It was great. I've always been a little scared of them. But this one was very open, and it was a great upper body workout, and it was great to be able to get out on the water. So we are now talking kayaks.
Well, I'm now of the mind that we need single kayaks. Don't need a two-seater, a single.
She, up until this point, she wanted a tandem kayak, but I think two individuals.
It wasn't really a tandem kayak. I wanted a two-seater so you could do all the work and I could sit there. I mean, we'll be honest about that.
Sounds reasonable to me.
Figures.
I think we're going to get two individuals with a tow rope.
Oh!
Because I do get tired, and you can bring me on in. Because,
well, if we had one of those, I would be doing the rowing and Mike would be doing the fishing.
Yeah.
So.
A little faster, a little faster. This isn't trolling speed yet.
We also went to Eglin, went to the exchange and visited the package store on base and plundered around and just had a good time. We always have a good time when we come down here. Yep. And we look forward to coming back, and you guys are looking forward, hopefully, to coming and visiting our neck of the woods up at Lake Eufaula sometime.
Lake Eufaula, yeah.
Yep.
You'll enjoy the fishing. I think the non-resident license is like $15, and we can get out there and catch us some, gosh, everything in Lake Eufaula.
including magnet fishing.
Oh my gosh.
That's a whole nother video, but me and Mike are experts now at magnet fishing.
Mike's first time magnet fishing.
Well, Ricky's first time also.
My first time as well.
Right.
And we had a blast, and we do have a separate video on that, so be sure and check it out. I'll put a link to it right up here. Where's that link, Mike?
It's right up here.
Where's that? Right there. All right.
What else did we do?
Well, we sat around and talked a lot, which is the great part of...
Sat at the beach.
Sat at the beach. I fished a little, picked me up a little rod and reel, and went out there and did some frozen shrimp fishing.
He fed the shrimp to the fish.
I fed the shrimp, but I did pull a catfish in, old bay catfish. I don't know if they're any good to eat. Probably not.
No.
Seen a lot of mullet jumping. A lot of mullet out there.
Mullet.
All right, now we need to get down to the nitty-gritty. Have you named your RV yet?
We think we have.
We're not sure.
We're not sure. That's not a good name.
We're pretty close.
We've got a couple of ideas.
Maybe we should put them out there and see if we get any feedback.
All right.
Right?
Okay.
So as we're driving over, we've talked about names, and we've batted back and forth so many different names, but it just didn't fit. So as we're driving over, Mike actually came up with a couple, and one I really liked. So Mike came up with At Last, and the other one was It's About Time.
It's about time.
It's about time. So I'm leaning toward At Last. It's one of my favorite songs.
At Last.
At Last. I like that.
Yeah.
I thought you should name it like Bill.
Bill. At Last.
Ed. Name it Ed.
Yeah. Well.
The Ed Sled.
Ed Coach.
The Ed Coach. At Last is a good name, though.
At Last is good.
Kind of encompasses your thoughts. Mike, how about you?
Well,
which do you favor?
I just threw those names out there because actually Joan's wanted this RV now for I don't know 30 years or something.
I don't know about 30.
But the last
30.
the last 15 she's really wanted one, and you know I just don't jump into anything real suddenly.
No, it has taken you a while to make a move on an RV.
Nope, he sure don't.
You've owned some boats and you've owned some tents. Did you ever have a trailer, a pop-up, a tent, or any of that camping stuff?
We rented one.
Yeah.
We did tent camping way back when the kids were little. We did some tent camping.
Well, I'm way too old for that.
Back in the day.
I got to have more comforts of home than that.
We've got bad backs.
Well, you definitely have them in this.
Yeah.
How's your bed in the RV?
Oh, it
is.
Man,
it's phenomenal.
It's great.
It's phenomenal.
It's as good or better than the one we got at home.
We sleep very well.
We do too.
In there.
So
we
do.
And that was a big thing for me, is that, if you can't get good rest, but it's good.
I threw that out there at last because she finally got an RV at last.
At last.
I think maybe that's a good name for it.
And you know what? At Last is a great YouTube name, too.
Joan says she doesn't want the notoriety. She likes her privacy.
Well, I don't have much as long as you're going to share with the entire RV community that my maiden voyage as the neighbor next
about
to
falling
us,
out of an RV.
as the neighbor snuck up behind me and said,
"What are you doing, girl?"
I just tumbled right out of the RV.
Scared her so bad she missed a step.
The fall was kind of fun, but the landing wasn't so good.
Did you hurt yourself?
I did not hurt myself, and the guy who scared me actually came over and helped me. Mike missed the whole thing. He even helped me get the dirt off of me because I was in the sand.
Well, what was you doing, girl? He hollered at you. What you doing, girl?
So as long as I get interviewed by RV Underway, I don't expect much privacy.
Well,
notoriety.
One of the first things I learned with the RV, the very first, it came with a video camera. I did not know that RV life came with a video camera.
Yes,
but it does.
Well, it's part of it. It's part of it. In fact, as you were talking just a few days ago, on your last Sunday Live, that you needed to do some work to the motor for your steps for your RV, I sent you a text and said, Ricky, you don't need to fix that motor.
I saw that.
Tell Miss Barbara that I can teach her how to come right out of that RV in a couple of seconds.
Look, we want to thank y'all for catching us up on what's been happening over the past 10 months with your Holiday Rambler Endeavor, now christened At Last.
Well, thank you guys for inviting us.
Oh, absolutely.
We're glad to get out and go somewhere and do something again. And
things are opening up, and it's time to get on the road.
Well, the important thing is, and I've told this to Joan, when you go and make your reservations, as you hit that confirm button and you get your confirmation, you better be dialing my number and texting me to tell me what site you're at.
We will.
And then I can get online and I can book right next to you.
Right. We will do that.
Well, that's going to do it. We're going to wrap this thing up. We've enjoyed visiting with the Riddles and getting caught up with Mike and Joan, and we look forward to the next time we get together.
Always.
And y'all are headed out today. In just a few hours, you'll be checking out. Probably less than that. I think you got to pull in your power and pull in your water, and you'd be about ready to go.
I'm ready to roll.
Yeah.
But thank y'all for
thank y'all very much. We had a wonderful time.
letting us crash your party here. We had a good time, and we're going to do it again soon.
Absolutely.
And I'm Mike.
And I'm Joan.
And
At
last.
At last.
At last.
Who sings that? Etta James?
Etta James.
Etta James.
All right, so until next time, if you enjoy the RV lifestyle and love learning more about it, be sure and hit our subscribe button. Click that bell to be notified when new content's available. Give us a thumbs up if you like this video. Also, leave us a comment. We'd love to hear from you. And share it. That's kind of important right there. And until we see you again, fair winds and following seas.
It's a wrap.